didn't say that prior. This is number 3. Government cannot create liberty, only defend it. There is no government program that will ever create liberty because liberty is individual. The only thing government can do and should do in regard to liberty is defend it. In other words, there was a gentleman by the name of Oliver Wendell Holmes. He used to be on the Supreme Court, I'm sure many of you remember this. Many, many, many years ago, you can look him up if you want to. He had his good days and he had his bad days. There were some of the things that he said that will go down in the annals of history as some of the greatest wisdom ever, and there are some actions that he took and decisions that he made that are completely counter to what he said. But it doesn't take away from what is probably the best explanation of liberty and the government's role of liberty that I've ever heard. The right to swing my fist ends where the other man's nose begins. And that is a true description of liberty. I can go out and swing my fist till my arms feel like they're gonna fall off, and there's no problem with that. If you don't like it, too bad. You could feel offended to see the crazy man out at the corner, right? But if I hit you in the nose, now I'm wrong and I've infringed on your liberty. Government's role, specifically in a republic, is not to make sure that everybody gets their due, but that if my actions specifically infringe upon your rights and you are not strong enough to stand up to me because maybe I'm bigger than you or maybe I've got more money than you, I have a whole bunch of goons behind me or whatever it is, to stand up and say, no, thou shalt not encroach upon thy neighbor. That's really government's primary role. Instead, we have the government doing the encroachment. It is exactly the opposite rule that's supposed to be. How many folks heard about the little lady who's trying to be a little sufficient and grow a garden in a suburb of Chicago this last week or two, who got arrested for doing that? Isn't that insane? She in the front of her lawn, she just had some vegetables. Well, they're not allowed to do that. It was a non-standard shrubbery or something they called it. So, I don't know, guys, it didn't seem like she was very free. People talk about a free market. There's no free market in America in the true sense today, just like we are not a pure republic. We are more of a democracy than a republic. Because we have forgotten, as soon as you start to take one piece of these things away, the whole thing starts to fall apart. For example, do I think the government should shut Monsanto down? I'm sure everyone here has heard of some bad things Monsanto's done. There's also a lot of good things. No, what I think that the government should require of Monsanto is that Monsanto should disclose everything they do. To put genetically modified corn included in this box, that'd be a good idea. That way we could make an informed choice and decide whether or not we want to eat that stuff. And if they want to put it in there, as long as we know it's in there, then we could make the decision. If you want to eat the GMO corn, fine. But I also think that you should not let Monsanto's corn corrupt their neighbor's organic corn. Because now the swinging fist is hitting the other man's nose in a way the other man cannot defend against. These are simple principles. They really are, and they are not really political, I don't think. That is just the reality. Government cannot create liberty. There is no such thing as government-imposed social justice that is truly justice. Because the government's version of social justice is, gee, you're doing really well. These people are doing really poorly. Let's take some of what you have and give it to those guys. Well, where's the justice in that? The justice would be, why are these people doing poorly? Is it through pure choice? Is it circumstance? Okay, they get to be there, they get to fail, and that's okay. Is someone holding them back, oppressing them in some way? If so, that oppression should be removed, and then we don't have to take from someone else to do that. We just have to remove the people who are standing in the way, out of the way, if they're hurting that class of people. And in most cases of poverty-stricken places today in America, it's the government itself holding those people down, and I believe that with all my heart. Thank you very much. Jim?